our priest's idea this year was, and I can't recall what night it was, Wednesday or Thursday, that each group in the parish would lead stations, whatever day that was, like at 7:30. So the men's fellowship led and ladies guild led one time, and so the 8th graders did a piece, and they brought an active board or a smart board down, and they had pictures that they had picked out and so forth, and one of the teachers helped them with the narrating. So they didn't do living stations, but they presented it, and they had booklets they all made together and stuff. So it was an outreach they did for the parish, which was very nice. And it made them feel more part and connected to the parish. And so Father liked that a lot too. One thing I did not copy, because we all had it in our packets from, what was Andy, I believe? Andy. When he did shortly after that, I got back to school, and one of our parishioners is into devotion. We didn't have a lot of Eucharistic devotion, and we would only do it during certain times of the year. And so he wanted to bring it and make it every Tuesday. We're a smaller parish, and a lot of parishes around us are closed. A lot of our older people, they can't maybe get into church. So it's been kind of difficult and challenging Tuesdays, and he was working adjusting the time. And so they said, okay, we're going to have all the school kids are going to take part in this Eucharistic devotion. And I just flashed right back to 40 hours or all of that, holy hours, you know, and I'm in my uniform, and, you know, we had, one uniform, it was wool, and it was so hot, and I thought, oh my God, I don't want these kids to go through that, and they're staring at this monstrance, and this fumes are making them want to throw up, you know, and I thought, I started shaking, and they came right to me, and I go, you're barking up the wrong tree, because I don't know anything, and then so I ignored that note for a while, and I went to the thing with Andy that we had, and I thought, okay, I'm good now, because I took his 6 P's of prayer, and I told all the kids, we had a faculty meeting, I told the teachers, I go, we got to get behind this. We have to look beyond, 1965, and we have to figure out how we can make this so that the kids have a good experience and not a bad experience, then it's not funny and we're going to poke each other. And truly, the guy that was leading, he goes, just take them in for 10 minutes, or how much ever the grade appropriate is, or whatever. So I gave the teachers this, so I just did what Andy had given us, and I put it on a nice thing, and some teachers made a whole bulletin board out of it, and I said, let's try to get into that. I really, really like this. And I had heard it at different retreats and things that I'd gone to, is like, and put yourself in that place, but I like that idea of the 6 P's of prayer, because the kids can get that. And so my class, my 4th grade class, and I in the 5th grade class, we worked on it for like the week before. And like you said, you had jury duty. I can't remember where it was I had to go. I had to do something on the day that we were supposed to go to Eucharistic. So Hazel gets it all set up, and then she leaves town. I remember where I was. So I sort of felt really bad. But the good thing was, the lady that took my class she has gotten a new job, but she still tutors kids in our class after school and so forth. So she still knows all the kids. So she had my babies, which I was glad. And because the teachers were like freaking out, and they're looking at me. I'm like, hey, somebody came to me. And it was the most marvelous thing. Every teacher on Monday came up to me and said they just had such a prayerful experience, and they went in and they were quiet. For my 4th graders, I gave them The Lord is My Shepherd, just a few verses of that, and like on a card. They made a prayer card, and they took it in there. So those kids that are squirmy and wormy and have to do something, they had something to hang on to. And she was amazed. The gal that took my kids, she goes, you never saw anything like it. And we have, all those challenging kids that eventually end up in the 8th grade that have had ADD and all these other things that are just... And the one boy that we just didn't even think was going to make it, he went up to the teacher afterwards, and it's all he can do to speak a sentence that makes sense, and he said, that was the most beautiful thing. I felt so close to Jesus sitting here. But then you don't overdo it, because I think if they had to go an hour every week, that they would get...
They get tired of it.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be meaningful. So that was really helpful to use that thing. And then in Advent, I think most of the stuff we did in Advent, I just reworked what the packet we had done before. But this is our Holy Thursday. And I think I have 11 here, so...
Oh, good.
Good.
If not, we share. So.
Yeah, Jane and I.
I think there's enough, because we don't even have 10 here, I think.
Janet, can I see the 6 P's of prayer?
Sure.
I'll make a copy of that for you.
Okay,
Thanks.
Well, we had it in the packet from before,
the
from
other
Andy,
group came
but
in.
I just
Yeah, might be
retyped it and stuff.
Okay.
So it's a nice everybody liked that.
And it's probably in our, but since it was Sandy and Lauren last time,
Oh,
we just,
that's right, right.
Oh, it wasn't you guys?
Yes,
But you were here before.
they were here before.
we go back and forth with Lauren and Sandy. There's 4 of
There's
us.
4
that
of us
Do
on
you
our
need the
core.
rest of these for here or no?
I think, no, Gina, as long as everyone has one,
Okay.
it's good.
All right.
Good.
So I'll go through it with you, and it's funny because of like what we said. I gave this packet to the teachers. Well, actually, I gave them little hints for the 2 weeks before, and I would put things in their mailbox that I'm sure they didn't read. So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give each person a binder, and I'm gonna put their name on it, like my friend Rosalie. You know, it's all beautiful. And when you open it up, it will say where you have to be, and if you turn the page, it's got one of those things like you guys did. So group A, B, and C was in. Yes.
Yeah.
And people kept coming up to me going, "Where am I supposed to go?"
Go.
Just like the kids, the teachers. And I go, "What does this say? You know, is it wrong?"
I'm glad it's not Josh.
No, it's not. Oh, they were so funny, but I do the same thing probably.
Yeah.
You know, when it's not your deal.
Thank you, because I'm sure I have it, but
Oh.
thank you.
So yes, they're very
Thank you.
funny. So anyway, there's the schedule. Now, what I find interesting about the faith families that we did last year at our Holy Thursday, well, it was actually Wednesday. I want to talk about that in a second. But we had them buddied up. So I'm kindergarten partners, a 4th grade and kindergarten partners all year long. And we did it that way, and everybody loved it. But what I wanted to do on the back page, it says one of the things was a presentation. And the presentations that I had in mind were specific for age. So I pulled people apart and put like pre-K to 2 together. So we went by ages. And it was okay, but I gotta say most of the teachers preferred when we had that buddy thing. But then, like you're saying, everybody likes VeggieTales. Yes, I guess that's true. And I agree with that. But then we had a speaker about service. So what I did was we scheduled it around the theme of service since it was Holy Thursday. That reading of washing the feet and so forth.
Yeah.
So the 3 activities, and we just did it in the morning. We had a full day, but we just did it in the morning because we've done the whole day. We've done a half day. You know, there are pros and cons. And the other thing is, and I don't know, maybe sister can speak to this, or sister, our pastor in past has said no, Holy Thursday, no services, no whatever, because everybody's supposed to come to Holy Thursday service at 7 or whenever you have it. So our thing as teachers was, well, you've got this day, there's no mass, we don't have a mass, we don't have this, it seems like it's a holy situation. You're closing Holy Week, you're not going to see these kids if you don't go on Fridays. So we were torn. This is the first year we did do it on Thursday. I think I might like it better on Wednesday. I'm still torn because Thursday seems like a lost day if you don't do something like this, and then they're not in stations and they're not doing other things. So I don't know. Do you have an opinion? Thursday versus Wednesday versus, I don't know, like a retreat day?
No, really, it's a diocesan thing about not having, mass and
Services.
So
Just
most teachers
mass.
prefer it Thursday because they want to have a religious sense
Experience,
before
yeah.
they leave.
Okay,
So-
and he was okay with it. We talked to him again about it, and
Yeah.
As long as we didn't have mass, then
Yes.
that was
Right.
okay. But then I felt sort of even as myself, because it's my parish as well. Well, I've been praying all day. Am I going to go back? Which is not what he wants. He wants us to come back. So it was difficult to try to decide what to do. The only other then downside, as you guys know, that you did it on Thursday, you're packing up and you're going, and is the room clean? Are you ready? And you're kind of like flustered. So
Right.
we're torn. It was nice doing it this way because it was a half a day on Thursday, and they still had that afternoon to kind of catch up.
That's a good.
So, but then they might have felt rushed. So we learned some things. Last year's I liked because of the buddies. This year's was good because they were able to do more age things. So here's what we did on the next page is the things that we did. We did stations, and I had them set up last year to go outside, and of course last year it snowed and rained. So this year it was the 60 and 70 degrees out in the sun and so forth. And you have at the back of the packet, I think you have the stations that I used, sort of adapted them from the internet, and those beautiful drawings there, the sketches. When I pulled them off, I made them big, and so for the first station, that was the picture.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And it was on a tan with the
nice.
black, and they were on a black thing, and then I stuck those in the ground around the